Coming up on today's episode of the Story Detective, I have a keyboard review for you guys. It's something that I got last fall and I filmed it as kind of an extra video if I ran short on time, and I never used it. So you're going to see fall decor and Halloween stuff, I think, in the background. But for those of you who think every day should be Halloween and like the fall, that won't really be a problem, will it? It's an interesting keyboard, and it's one I wanted to check out for a while. It's the Bastron Glass Touch Keyboard. The question is it just an aesthetic kind of futuristic looking device, or is it actually useful? That's what's coming up on today's episode of the Story Detective. Stick around. When the Bastron Glass Touch Keyboard first came out, I saw it reviewed on a couple of channels, and it looked interesting. It looked like something out of Star Trek, where you see little LED symbols for the keypads on a sheet of glass. So very futuristic looking. The problem with it, and the reason I didn't buy it when it first came out, is you're typing on glass. It's going to be like typing on an iPad or any other tablet. You can't really type if you know how to type, which isn't a problem for me because I don't know how to type. That being said, there's nothing tactile going on here. It's just your fingers on glass. So it is a novelty. It's not technically a keyboard with any, mechanical keyboards. There's no clickiness. There's no satisfaction. I wanted to give it a shot. The tech and the sci-fi fan in me was compelled to get one, but at $120, $130, it seemed a bit of an extravagance to spend that money on something that I know I was rarely going to use. I found this on eBay. I don't think you can buy these anymore. I found a couple of them on the secondary market, and this one I got for $40. I think that was a good price for a used one. The seller said it was supposed to be in pretty pristine shape. It looked good in the photos. What I'm hoping this will be is a fair price for the novelty of the experience, and finally satisfy the tech geek and see what the heck this thing does. So if you're ready, we're going to dive in, cut this puppy open, see what we ended up with. Scissors for cutting things. So that's what we have. Glass with a metal frame. Very Star Trek. So it's very lightweight. There's almost nothing to it aside from the metal frame up here is the heaviest part. Otherwise, it's a thin piece of glass. It does look to be in pretty good shape aside from a little bit of fingerprints, which the beauty of this is supposed to be that you can wipe it right off and nothing's going to get crumbs between your keys or anything like that. The other feature of this is there's supposed to be something that you can switch back and forth between keyboard and trackpad. So if you want to scroll, you can use this whole thing as like a trackpad. Now, I don't know how that's going to work on an iPad, whether you can just scroll or whether you'll be able to select things with it. There's no instruction booklet. I'm going to try to use it for a week. I don't think with my mechanical keyboard and the ASIO that I have on my desk that this is going to replace it. And within a few days, I'm probably going to start missing the clackiness. But I'm going to try to use it, get used to it, see what it's all about, and then I will finish up the video at that point and let you guys know what the experience is like and how the trackpad actually works. So let's hook it up and let's do a brief test run and see what we're in for. Oh, I should also say, there is, even though Bastron is not putting these out, you can find websites where this is still available for the like $120, $130. They're not like everywhere. Amazon used to have them and now they don't. I have seen another company, Q Gadget. It's the same basic design. It looks like the same keyboard. Mentions the same kind of trackpad feature. But they want, and I've seen that priced from $179 to $200 and change. So it's like they failed in the US with this, and now they're taking it, from what I can see, to what looks like an Asian market, raising the price and hoping they'll do better. Depending on the experience here, unless they've upgraded it and added different features that make that thing different, you're better off looking for it on the secondary market and hoping you'll find one that will, much the same way I did, be a novelty keyboard at a novelty price, if that's your thing. Okay, we're going to plug this in and see. Scotty, we have ignition. Okay, so it looks like there's really just lights up in here shining down to illuminate it. These things aren't lit. First impression, it's a little bit lower than what I'm used to because the mechanical keyboard is like up here and slanted. This is very close to the desk, which might be okay. I could let my fingers just drop down. I do see the fingerprints more from the previous owner all over the thing. It's working. But yeah, it's just typing on glass. Okay, kind of interesting. Now it looks like up here they have two little symbols for Apple and Windows, and it looks like keyboard trackpad. So let's see if this turns it into the trackpad. Nothing's happening there. I'm just hitting keys and typing nonsense. I don't know how it shifts. I'm not seeing scrolling happening. Okay, so I tried to use the trackpad on an actual web page to see if it worked. Nothing was moving, but as I moved up, it found the window and it started again typing nonsense in the window. But as far as scrolling, being a trackpad, you know, I don't see it. So I may have to look up a tutorial and see what I'm missing here. The typing works fine if you don't mind hitting glass. That's the thing. And the fact that it's so low and so flat, I feel like it needs some elevation. It needs some legs. I can see why people were disappointed at this at first glance. Again, interesting. I'm going to give it a couple of days and see where this thing leads. Okay, I've used this for a little while now, and what I discovered is a couple of things. The shift key, it doesn't have a right shift key, so it only has the one on the left. So if you're used to using your right hand to hit the shift button, you're going to run into some problems or some adjustments that need to be made. It does have the function keys, but it doesn't have any shortcuts to play media. As far as typing, it's really not that bad. If you're into typing on an iPad or a cell phone, you'll be fine. I like it in terms of the aesthetics. It looks cool. It looks very futuristic. That is the only reason for buying this keyboard, is if you want to have something that looks like it came straight out of a science fiction movie, then you're perfectly fine with this. It's for aesthetics. It's not for actually typing. If you're the kind of person who can actually put your fingers on the keyboards and not look at it and just type away. This is not for you if that's what you want to have in terms of functionality. If you're into the aesthetics and you want something that looks cool, it's definitely a cool looking keyboard. It definitely has that attraction factor. If you were sitting down to write your science fiction novel and you wanted to set your workstation up in a way that added that to it and got yourself all in the mood, then great. That's about all I can really think of in terms of uses for this. You're either going to love it for the look, or you're going to hate it for the lack of functionality. It does match the iPad, especially if you got a gold one like me. So I suppose if you're one of those people that don't like typing on the iPad this way and you wish that you could bend it like a laptop, here's your solution. It's an iPad keyboard, but it's not part of your iPad. But it does match your iPad. So at this point, I'm kind of glad I didn't pay full price for this. Without the handrest, I think it feels better to be lower to it. So it definitely needs to be raised, or I could try it without the handrest. There you have it. That's first impression. And first impression was not impressive. It's interesting. It's unique. Or is it just going to go back in the box and sit in the closet, and every once in a while when I think, wow, I kind of want to play with that, I'll pull it out and dust it off and say, it was fun for a day or two. Maybe it could be a prop for a sci-fi video. So until next time, keep those keyboards clacking. Or not.